He is the director of the film. You probably saw or at least heard about his only son. His name is David Helling. We'll bring him in live right now here in Orlando. David, great to meet you finally.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well, both of y'all.
The film came out around Palm Sunday, is that what you said?
Yeah, March 31st, came out in theaters across the United States, over 2,000 screens. Came out in New Zealand, Australia, and Canada as well, Puerto Rico. It was number 1. Oh, it's number 3 in the U.S. box office, number 1 in the Lebanese box office. Oh. And we got many more international territories coming up real soon that it's going to be in theaters as well.
It sounds amazing, but one piece of advice, don't say number 3, just do the Trump. It was the best. Just say it was the best, because what I hear, it was the best. Tell us about the film.
At least, yeah, it's the best. You know, my mom says it's the best. No, that's the way. That's the caveat to where you stay honest. Yeah. But go ahead. Tell me about the film. It chronicles the 22nd chapter of the book of Genesis. It's about when Abraham takes Isaac to go and sacrifice, when the Lord calls Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, and you follow Abraham on that 3-day journey and really get into the mind of Abraham, what had to have been going through his mind, knowing that he had to do this with his son, and also what the Lord was doing in that and what the Lord was pointing to. And I make it really clear that he was pointing to Christ, because that's what it's all about. But through that journey, you're reliving all the promises of God through flashback of Abraham and Sarah struggling to have Isaac for the 25 years they struggled to have Isaac. So amazing. Is there a favorite part of this movie? Do you have a favorite scene or a favorite moment? Yeah, well, there's a number that impacted me. There's one in particular where Abraham prays, and I think it's really impacted a number of people, and it really shows what the Lord is doing even when you don't feel him. And when you pray and you feel like your prayers are bouncing off the ceiling, that the waiting on the Lord and what the Lord is doing in the waiting, I think it's a beautiful picture. And I don't want to give too much away for people that haven't seen it, but that's a really it's kind of a pillar of the film.
Just the mechanics of it, for people who haven't seen it, you mentioned to us in the break that it will be in streaming platforms, and it's going to expand beyond theaters now in the days ahead.
That's right. So our distributor is Angel Studios. You know, they the ones that put out The Chosen. They put out so many other things. Got Sound of Freedom coming out in theaters, 4th of July. But they put it out, and to their guild members, to the Angel Guild, it'll become available for streaming June 1st. They said that, and then it'll go out free on the Angel app later in the year, and then it'll also come out eventually, be on DVD and streaming platforms, and like I said, in theaters also in Latin America, in Brazil, in South Korea, in Spain. So they got a number of places it's coming.
I'm sure people in our live chat
I'm looking to see what they want to know.
Yeah, why don't you look? And I just want to ask you this. Something that gives me hope as I'm here at the National Religious Broadcasters is we were talking to a guest earlier about how so-called Christian films, like a few years ago, was like this small niche, you know, and didn't hear a lot about it. If you got into the big theater, it was a big deal. Seems more routine now in the sense, in a good way, it's grown so much, the streaming platforms multiplying effect. What's going on? Is there an awakening? Are people craving more and more of this material because of all the nonsense with the woke culture? What do you attribute to as a director?
Well, what I attribute to, number one, is the grace of the Lord and His mercy that He's allowing us to still have His word come to us through this medium. And I think what's happening as it trickles, as the success trickles in, then distributors, people that are the ones that are marketing the film out to the public, they see that it is successful financially. So then it gives more opportunities to us who want to get the message out there.
That message is so important. The delivery is important. Who are some of the actors in this movie?
So the main actor who plays Abraham, he's actually one of the biggest television stars in the Middle East. He's from Lebanon. His name is Nicola Mawad, and a good friend of mine, and he absolutely knocks the performance of Abraham out of the park. Sarah Saeed she's Iranian originally, and she plays the role of Sarah in the film.
Great.
Absolutely. I mean, their performances, and as well as the rest of the cast as well, just could not have been blessed with a better cast.
Wow.
Beautiful. What are you working on next? Like, how do you go? Seems like a film that obviously took a lot of hard work. It's been well received. What do you tackle next? How do you keep this momentum?
Well, momentum. You rely on the Lord, focus and keep your eyes on Christ, right? But my heart has been, since my time as a Marine in Iraq, where the Lord really got a hold of my heart, drew me to do to the Word, and from that moment I wanted to do biblical films, and so my heart is just to continue to work through the whole biblical narrative to build on the prophecies and the promises that point to Christ throughout the Old Testament. So next up, I'm working on covering the whole life of Jacob, and people can find out more about that at angel.com/Jacob. And so I need to be done writing the script by the end of the summer and hopefully roll on into pre-production soon thereafter.
Wow. Well, thank you for your service. I hate that this interview is so short because now I have so many questions about this God moment that you had while you were serving. I want to hear something about that.
We're going to give you one more. Come on, go for it. Yeah, we got time. Go for it.
What was that moment? You said you had a moment.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, so I was in the Marine Corps from 2005 to 2010. During my time in Iraq, I was in primarily my team was hunkered down in one of Saddam Hussein's old missile bunkers in Al Anbar province. And I just really was faced with, so I call myself a Christian. I would identify as a Christian, most of my life.
Sure.
But I didn't ever spend time in the Word, didn't spend time with Him, didn't even have a desire to really honor Him with my heart. And then I took my Bible with me, and I got really convicted just in the lonely nights. We worked with all night long and being off by myself.
Wow.
I cracked into the Word, and it came alive. The gospel came alive.
Wow.
Amazing.
And from that moment, I want to show others that, hey, the Word is alive. These are true accounts.
Because you're doing that now.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Following up on it. Great story. Please check it out. His only son. What a film. What a man.